What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a little bit of a look at a rather lovely new card which has gone and been revealed. We are still doing our daily releases at the moment, which is pretty gosh darned awesome as far as I'm concerned, and we've had one revealed today which, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, it just looks awesome, and I for one I'm extremely excited. Now, our translation today comes from the lovely folks over at Ensan Gaming. Now, I have gone and checked on TCG Review over on Twitter as well, because I like to try and be ahead of the curve with this stuff, at least where I can be. And to be fair, they've also got a translation up on DigimonCard.dev, so I feel pretty good about this translation. What we've got is Megidramon here, and stats-wise, it's looking alright. 12 cost to play normally is slightly more expensive than we would expect for a level 6, but 3 cost to play normally is standard, and 11,000 power is standard. And it is important to note that it is a level 6, which can digivolve from either a purple or red level 5, so this could fit into purple decks or it could fit into red decks. Either works quite nicely. But it's got a couple of skills, and both of these are cool. Now, the first skill's nice and straightforward. When you digivolve, trash the top 5 cards of both players' decks. It's mill. It's actual mill. Now, the thing is, we don't really have the tricks for much mill in Digimon at the moment, but this is 10% of your deck, and 10% of your opponent's deck. 5 cards, 50 card deck, 10%. But you could potentially have 4 Megidramon coming out here and digivolving. Well, that's 20 cards. And, well, that's a whole bunch different. That's 40% of your opponent's deck. I don't think we're into mill territory yet. I don't think we're actually going to play Megidramon and mill our opponent. Remember the rule in Digimon, when you get to your draw part of your turn, the draw phase as you were, if you're unable to draw a card, you will lose the game. That is a win condition. So just something to bear in mind here. I don't think we're actually going to be seeing anytime soon an actual mill deck that legitimately wins by milling, but it is something to bear in mind. Now, obviously this fits very, very nicely into a purple deck, because purple play from the trash. You know, one of the most popular rookies we see in purple decks is Impmon, because when it gets deleted, you trash the top 3 cards of your deck. We've seen all kinds of purple cards that can play cards from your trash. I mean, Piedmon, as a nice example, that's one we like quite a bit. You know, it's got a really nice skill whereby when you play it, you can play 2 level 4 or lower purple Digimon cards from your trash. And this is just an example. There are loads of purple we've looked at that can do this. So if you're able to play a bunch of cards from your trash, then randomly milling yourself is a very good thing, and you shouldn't be too worried about it. But then even in red, we've got stuff like Gallantmon. Now, Gallantmon, you don't really want to mill yourself, but Gallantmon, when you attack, you trash one of your opponent's security cards for every 10 cards in their trash. So this is putting essentially half a security card worth of cards in their trash. So, I mean, if they have 0 cards in their trash and you digivolve up 2 Megidramon here, you will actually be just trashing 1 security card, and that's if they play no other cards, etc, etc. And obviously at some point, the likelihood is that they're probably going to. So there is a clear and obvious combo with Gallantmon here, which just keep that in mind, alright? We're going to come back to Gallantmon very shortly. So what I'm going to say here nice and simply is that yes, trashing yourself is fine, especially if you're playing a purple deck, because you're often going to play from the trash. Trashing your opponent is good for things like Gallantmon, but we don't actually have a proper mill deck at the moment, so don't expect to be winning by milling your opponent until they have no cards. We just don't have the tricks for that at the moment. But keep this card in mind, because at some point in the future, we might have those tricks, and when we do, I will think very differently about this first skill. But there is actually a second skill here, and the second skill is way better. What it says is, when you are deleted, you, if you have a Tamer card in play, may play a level 6 Digimon card with Gallantmon in its name from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost. And again, you can play this from the trash, so if you ended up trashing one when you Digivolved up in Megidramon, don't worry your pretty little head about it, you will be fine. And this is awesome. Essentially, you get your level 6 out, you do a bit of milling for both yourself and your opponent, you've got average power, you're okay, it's going alright, but then when you're deleted, you essentially get to swap it for a Gallantmon. Now, they say Dukemon on the card because Dukemon is what it's called over in Japan. We use Gallantmon. And this is a game changer. I mean, if I really want my Gallantmon and there's one in my hand or my trash, I can basically use Megidramon to take out my opponent's level 6, bearing in mind that the average level 6 has 11,000 power. And then I go down as well, but I just get straight replaced with Gallantmon and life is good. Bearing in mind you are still playing Gallantmon here, so you will not actually be able to attack this turn, because it's the turn it's played, so you cannot essentially cheat by attacking with Megidramon, being deleted, and then attacking with Gallantmon. That would be a little bit too good. But it does mean you can attack the stack with absolutely no fear, because the worst case scenario is you get deleted and replaced with Gallantmon. Now, to go back to Gallantmon, obviously we've got that amazing skill whereby you trash an opponent's security card for every 10 cards in their trash, and this is every time you attack. If you can mill them enough or they play enough cards, this is going to be an amazing skill. And remember, with Gallantmon, the ruling, and we've had this officially confirmed, it's just trashing. So there's no security check, there's no fight between security Digimon, there's no security skills activating on optional tamer cards or any of that rubbish. It just gets rid of the security card and nothing bad happens. Clearly playing this for free is awesome. I mean, one of the things to note about Gallantmon is you've got average power but above average play cost and above average evolution cost. This is awesome. Now, when you Digivolve into Gallantmon, if you've got a red tamer in play, you delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 power or less. Obviously, this skill is not activating if you play Gallantmon using the skill of Megidramon here. But do bear it in mind, because you're going to be playing Gallantmon anyway in this kind of deck, and you're going to have a tamer in play, although Megidramon only demands that you have a tamer. Gallantmon does demand you have a red tamer. So if you play a non-red tamer, Gallantmon will essentially just be there for the when you attack, trash their security cards. But if you're playing it for free and just getting that second skill, that seems absolutely fine by me. But remember, that is not the only Gallantmon we've actually seen, because we have seen Chaos Gallantmon, translated image courtesy of the lovely folks over at digimoncards.dev, and that is one that is coming in this set, and it's a level 6, and it's not called Gallantmon, it's Chaos Gallantmon, but remember, you get to play a card with Gallantmon in its name, which would totally count here, and this is awesome. This is another one you can totally use here. And this, now it's got a Digivolve skill that lets you delete one of your Digimon to delete one of your opponents. Again, you can use that, but remember, it's an evolution skill, so if you're playing for free using Megidramon, it's not going to activate. But on your turn, once per turn, when your other Digimon is deleted, you can play a purple level 3 from your trash without paying its memory cost. Yep. That's a pretty good skill. So you can go hardcore purple here and just play a purple deck, and this Chaos Gallantmon will work very, very nicely. Play this for free, and then every time one of your other Digimon is deleted, you'll play more Digimon for free, and we're back to that ridiculous purple skill of playing a ridiculous amount of Digimon for free. Something to bear in mind. But also here, you could instead go for red and have the Gallantmon we've already had, or you could play some kind of mixture. They've both got Digivolution skills, but remember, you can just Digivolve up rather than playing for free using Megidramon, although obviously you do lose the whole free aspect. But there is one other thing I do need to mention here quickly before we finish. Remember that yesterday I showed you that new MetalGarurumon, whereby if this Digimon has a Digimon card with Garurumon in its name in its Digivolution cards, when you Digivolve, you can take a Digimon with On Deletion skill and put it on the bottom of your opponent's deck, trashing any Digivolution cards. And obviously here, because you've got a really nice on-deletion skill, this will be vulnerable to MetalGarurumon. Now, there's a link to that video in the description. I'll let you go and peruse that one at your leisure. But essentially what I said about that was you need to be a little bit careful, because although it's not great now, you never know what's going to end up being good or played in the future. The more good on-deletion skills we have, the more they're going to end up being played, and the more they end up being played, the more likely it is that MetalGarurumon's going to be played, and then you'll be a bit vulnerable with them. Frankly, ladies and gentlemen, you have been warned. But I think this is a really, really strong card. I love the Digivolution skill, although I honestly don't think we've got the best tricks to use it at the moment. I don't think that is really going to come into its own yet. Love it with Gallantmon, but I think it's going to be better in the future. And we've got an awesome deletion skill, and you generally don't get to play level 6s for free, so that is rather ridiculous. Consider me a fan, ladies and gentlemen. Consider me a fan. I'm going to go ahead and give this between 4 and 5 Wassies. This seems we don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. I think this is a really strong skill that could very much be an archetype in and of itself, and I could be wrong, but my first impression of this card is extremely positive. But I'd like to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wassie Plays.